Hello, welcome back. I wanted to show off this program again because I've made a lot of updates to it since the last time I showed it off. So first of all, you can see when I run it, it actually has a graphical output now instead of text on the console. Thank goodness, of course. It makes it a lot easier to look at than the previous version. So you can just click now. You use your mouse to navigate. So maximize HP, MP, attack, def, speed, dex, vit, whiz. And you can see that the stat panel over here updates every time you change it, what your gear is. And you can click on a character, choose a different character, optimize their stats. It's a lot quicker and snappier to use than the previous version of this. Obviously, you don't have to remember any codes for what every stat and character is. It's programmed in already. As an aside, it's not really relevant to the showcase, but in the previous version of this video, I had a data entry error on the Cloak of the Planewalker, which made it seem like the highest achievable speed stat was 96, and I determined that was wrong, but as it happens, it's right. When I fix the data entry error, it's a different build. Oh, excuse me, the highest achievable speed stat is 97, and I thought it was 96 because I thought my data entry made it that way. Anyway, the highest speed stat is 97, with a 2-piece bonus from the Skald set. So I thought that was interesting, but I just wanted to show off one more thing about this new version of the program that it can do that the previous version couldn't. And that is, you can pull up the item description here and set up your own build for whatever class and items you want. You can see that I don't actually have all the items in, I just have the ones that could be optimal. So I have the tradable tops, the Halls tops in cases of, not for abilities, but for armors and weapons, it has Halls tops here. And you can put in, there's a lot of rings. I put in UBHP, even though the Deca ring is tradable, but whatever. It's just for consistency with the other rings. So you can see, you can build it however you want, and the stat panel will reflect that. And you got the descriptions down here too, and the stats on each item. And that's about all I've got working right now. The features that I'm planning to work on shortly is going to be, it's going to have a DPS graph in this big white space down here, like the Piffle one that is generally used. It's going to start at -20 instead of at 0. And also I'm going to have sort of a weapon comparison panel that you can pull up that will allow you to see at what values of attack and dexterity one weapon is better than the other for 2 weapon choices at a particular defense level. And that's the immediately planned features. I have more in mind, although I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, because this program has been somewhat of an undertaking so far. You can see I have more detailed information on the pages for weapons compared to abilities. That's just because that's where the program is currently when I'm recording this. It is going to be more detailed on abilities. It's going to show the damage, it's going to show the effect. But I just haven't programmed that yet. You can see it doesn't handle descriptions quite right currently. Also, on some of them you can't really tell. But you get to the ST Katana is what I'm thinking of. This one, you can see there's supposed to be line breaks here between Cloud and Inflicting and Cuts and Brilliance, as an example. And also Archer, Deathless Crossbow. You can see that the description continues off to the right because it's all stored as one string, and I just said to draw the string. So I can fix that. I haven't yet either. I just wanted to show this off because I think this is a lot more presentable than the previous version of the program that I showed off. I'm feeling kind of proud of this program. I just wanted to share it. In the future, it will have most of the features from the Piffle DPS calculator. Not all of them. I'm not really planning to do the die stuff and the pet stuff. Well, I'm planning to do different pet stuff, but not just sort of displaying skins and dyes and whatever. So you can see that the design of this, though, is somewhat inspired by the design of that. with the top bar housing this and the buttons up here to do what you want. And it's going to be even more obvious that it's inspired by that when I get to making the DPS graph on the bottom, because it's just a nice way of displaying this information. And if it ain't broke. So ultimately, at the same time as I implement the DPS DPS chart, I'm planning to add another button up here and among these maximize whatever buttons that can maximize DPS on a certain interval on the graph, or for a particular defense. And that would be a recommendation for what the best loadout would be for a dungeon overall. So you can put in the interval of the lowest def enemy you're targeting to the highest def enemy you're targeting, probably the boss, and you would see what the highest DPS set is for that, including conditions like weak, damaging, dazed, and berserk. So those will all be checkboxes up here, similar, again, to the Pififfle DPS. So that's my vision for the future of this program. It's worth noting that this program is in Java, so it's not going to run, or your browser won't want you to run it in your browser. So it would have to be downloadable, or I would have to, at some point, port it to a different language if I'm going to host it on a website rather than making it downloadable. So I haven't really decided what I'm going to do in terms of that, because I am planning to release this at some point. Not necessarily soon, but at some point. And I think that's all I have to say in terms of what I've done here today and what I'm planning to do in the immediate future for this. I hope you've enjoyed this video.